in a move sending shockwaves through the U.S. intelligence and law enforcement community. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has abruptly fired Brian Driscoll, who served as acting director earlier this year. Also dismissed were Stephen Jensen, head of the Washington field office, and Walter Giardina, an agent with a long record of involvement in politically sensitive investigations. The simultaneous removal of 3 senior figures, all tied in some way to cases connected to former President Donald Trump, has set off an intense debate over whether the FBI is undergoing a much-needed restructuring or falling victim to unprecedented political purges. Multiple sources familiar with the situation suggest Driscoll's termination may have been sparked by his refusal to hand over the names of FBI agents who worked on the January 6th Capitol riot investigations. According to reports, this request came from senior officials within the Justice Department, a move critics saw as a dangerous attempt to intimidate and potentially retaliate against agents who participated in politically sensitive cases. Driscoll's decision to push back reportedly drew the ire of new FBI leadership. In his farewell email to staff, he expressed shock and disappointment. "Last night I was informed of my dismissal. No reason has been given, and no cause has been articulated at this time. The wider purge, more than just one man. Driscoll is not alone." Stephen Jensen, as head of the Washington field office, oversaw investigations into both January 6th participants and individuals linked to Trump's orbit. Walter Giardina has been connected to past probes into political corruption and was reportedly in the midst of ongoing public integrity investigations. Observers note that these dismissals follow earlier removals of agents from units handling public corruption, domestic terrorism, and high-profile political cases. 3. The FBI Agents Association, FBIAA, representing thousands of current and former agents, quickly issued a statement condemning the firings. They described them as lacking due process, undermining morale, and eroding the public's trust in the Bureau's independence. The rule of law demands that FBI decisions be free of political pressure, the statement read. These actions risk politicizing the Bureau at a time when our nation needs impartial law enforcement more than ever. Senator Mark Warner, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, called the firings deeply troubling and suggested they could reflect direct political interference in law enforcement. "If we are now firing FBI leadership for following the facts instead of political orders, we are heading into dangerous territory." Conversely, Trump allies have painted the shakeup as an overdue cleaning house, removing what they call deep state operatives who undermined Trump during his presidency and beyond. Kash Patel's leadership, reshaping the FBI. Current FBI Director Kash Patel, appointed earlier this year, has wasted no time in reorganizing the agency. Working closely with Deputy Director Dan Bongino, Patel has removed or reassigned agents tied to investigations into Trump or his associates, ordered internal loyalty checks, including polygraph examinations, disbanded certain public corruption units, and shifted resources toward what leadership calls core national security missions. Critics argue these moves amount to weaponizing the Bureau to protect political allies and punish opponents. Supporters insist the FBI is finally being freed from politically biased actors. This isn't the first time the FBI has faced accusations of political misuse. A J. Edgar Hoover era, 1924 to 1972, the Bureau was used to monitor, harass, and undermine political dissidents and civil rights leaders. And Nixon's Saturday Night Massacre, 1973, while involving the Justice Department rather than the FBI directly, it serves as a cautionary tale of leadership being removed to halt investigations. Comey's firing. 2017 former director James Comey's abrupt dismissal during the Russia investigation was widely seen as politically motivated. Analysts warn that repeating such patterns risks long-term damage to the FBI's credibility. What's at stake? Independence versus influence. The consequences of politicizing the FBI are profound. 1. Public trust. Once eroded, it's hard to rebuild. 2. Operational effectiveness. Agents may hesitate to pursue politically sensitive cases. 3. International reputation. U.S. law enforcement's image as impartial and professional could suffer abroad. 4. Legal challenges. Fired agents may seek reinstatement through the courts, leading to prolonged legal battles. Inside voices, agents speak out anonymously. Some current FBI personnel, speaking anonymously to reporters, describe a climate of fear. One agent claimed that loyalty to leadership, rather than competence or investigative success, is now the main criterion for advancement. People are watching what they say and who they talk to, one agent said. If you're perceived as anti-Trump or too tied to past cases against him, your career is in danger. With the 2026 midterm elections approaching, the timing of these firings could be strategic. Removing certain senior figures may limit potential leaks or testimony damaging to Trump-aligned politicians. Shift investigative priorities away from politically sensitive probes. Reinforce a narrative of restoring order to an agency portrayed by Trump allies as corrupt. However, such optics cut both ways, energizing opposition voices who see this as an assault on democratic institutions. Final analysis, a crossroads for the FBI. The firing of Brian Driscoll is not simply a personnel decision. It's a litmus test for the FBI's future. Will it remain a fiercely independent investigative body, or will it bend to the political winds of the moment? For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. As more details emerge, Americans will have to decide which narrative they believe. A necessary purge of politically compromised officials, or a dangerous politicization of the nation's top law enforcement agency. Either way, the ripple effects from this decision will be felt for years, in courtrooms, on Capitol Hill, and perhaps most importantly, in the hearts and minds of the agents still serving within the FBI.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this update and want to stay informed with fast, reliable news, don't forget to subscribe to Newsflash 360. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. Your next headline is just seconds away.